Hello, everybody. I am so sorry that it has taken me this long to film a video for you guys, but 2023 was a bucket of crazy. Boy, was it. I won't go too far into it because, frankly, you probably don't care. But just know it wasn't great. I did move to Japan, finally. I am here, I am in Okinawa, and I hope you guys have a wonderful 2024. 5-star reads for all of us. Grab a comfy little seat, maybe a blankie, maybe some coffee, tea, and yeah, we're gonna have some fun. My army girlies. BTS came out with their memoir. So, in honor of that, I read 7 books that BTS members have recommended, and then I read their memoir. So, that was, gosh, July. Yeah, because I think their memoir came out in July. So, I had done this back in July. So, again, when I tell you that this has been slightly delayed, it has been slightly delayed. But I felt like it was only right to start out with a pick from Namjoon. So I ended up starting out with Kim Ji Young, born 1982. So I ended up giving this book a 4-star, not necessarily because it was like a fun, silly read, not at all. It was actually pretty infuriating. Kim Ji Young, her life as a woman in Korea in the early 1980s. And I just wanted to punch every single man that she had come into contact with. Not that being a woman in America is always a walk in the park, but this definitely just gave perspective, and it kind of, at least for me, gave me that sense of like being proud to be a woman despite kind of all the bullshit society puts us through. So, definitely if you read it and if you're not a feminist already and you read that book and you're still not a feminist, you're probably a monster. Um but yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I do recommend it. However, be in the correct mindset for said book, cuz yeah, it's pretty hard hitting, definitely like slice of life. So not necessarily like too much of a story, but yeah, just kind of follows Kim Ji Young through the different phases of her life and kind of what that looked like. So yeah. Book number 2, Slam Dunk, the manga. And that is a rec by, of course, Yoongi. So I knew that this was going to be one of his top picks just because obviously he loves basketball. I just knew that this was going to be a fun read because I don't know, it just looked so silly, and the manga itself was actually so good. I rated it a 5-star just because I will be open and honest. My hands are up. I am a basketball hater. I think there are too many points. It's too much with the back and forth. I just dislike basketball so much. So, that being said, I was like, surely I will not enjoy this manga as much as Suga does. And turns out I loved it. So that was kind of shocking. It was so silly, it was so funny. Didn't necessarily give me any newfound appreciation for the game, but definitely a series that I will continue because now I feel like I'm invested in the characters. The main character, Sakuragi, is hilarious. He's annoying. He's trying to be a really good basketball player because he's also trying to woo some girl. Will he get the girl? 31 volumes? I guess I'll find out. And of course, there's this brooding other great basketball player, and the girl that he likes, she loves this other guy. So he's like, I must be better at basketball. So it's very silly. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I liked a basketball manga. I call me Sporty Spice because it was great. So yeah, definitely would recommend that. even for people that don't normally read manga, that actually I think is gonna be one of my favorites from all of the books that, BTS made me read. I think Yoongi's pick is probably gonna be one of the top ones, just to give you a little bit of a vibe for the rest of this video. And then the next one that I read was actually Jungkook's pick. It was Crying in H Mart. I loved this book. I gave it a 5 star, and it's because it was so vulnerable, so heartbreaking, and it's about a girl that has a really complicated relationship with her mom, and her mom ends up passing away. And it's basically just like all of her feelings going through that. But it also shows, a lot of flashbacks about their relationship when her mom was alive, how she thinks about things when her mom passes away. And it was just phenomenal. It was a phenomenal book. Michelle is Korean American, and it was just so interesting to hear her story, especially as a famous musician as well. Even despite that being a darker, sadder theme, I would recommend for anyone to read that book. Obviously, you would have to be in like the headspace for it. If you're looking for like a happy read, I wouldn't necessarily say to dive into that one, but it was well worth the physical pain, I guess, that I had while reading that book. So great pick from JK. I mean, he's my bias for a reason. So, okay, now we're going to circle back to Namjoon, and respectfully, RM loved this book so much that he ended up getting his name somehow on the cover. I want to die, but I want to eat tteokbokki. And let me tell you, I thought that this book was going to change my life. Okay. Like, literally on the front cover, it says, recommended by BTS's RM. And so I just had such high hopes. And I'm going to be real, it fell pretty flat for me. I was uninterested most of the time. I mean, it's literally her talking to her therapist. Like, I get that it's good to shed light on these things, and I get that therapy isn't always like magical and it's not just gonna like bam fix your issues. But I don't know. I thought I was gonna get more out of this than I did, because I was kind of left like, okay, but did this help you in any way? Because it just kind of seemed like throughout the whole book, she kept being like, well, I'm trying to take your advice, but these things are still happening, or something like that. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people love this book, and I didn't. I was pretty bored. I was pretty bored, guys. So, would I recommend this book? Not really. I gave it, I think, a 3, but it's a generous 3. I think in my heart, it's a little bit lower. I'm gonna be real. I would not recommend this book. Yeah, sorry, Namjoon, but I did not love this book. And then after I was like super sad about reading Namjoon's pick, I had to brighten up the mood one more time. So I went back to Manga Street, okay, and I read Naruto, and I read volume 1. I do remember watching the show a little bit as a kid, but I honestly forgot a lot about the storyline. So, uh it was so much fun. It was so goofy. It brought my mood back up after after that other book. So yeah, this was really good. I think I rated it a 4 or a 5. A 4. I rated it a 4. So definitely gonna continue that series. Yeah, I think that it was just a really good palate cleanser for me. And then right after, I was brought back to this aisle of just happiness and fun, I decide to go with another Yoongi pick. And it's not that this book was like sad the whole time, but I did end up reading Almond, And this book wrecked me in the best way. It was sad but beautiful. It's another one that I really do think anybody could enjoy. He can't feel like anger or fear, and this kind of gives him a very interesting outlook on life. It's almost like, I don't know if any of you have ever read The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, but it's very much a similar vibe to that, which wonderful book. Go read that if it wasn't. I mean, for me, I'm going to date myself here, but for me, it was a school read, I believe in high school. Highly, highly recommend, but gave that similar vibe where, a kid struggles with a condition and you kind of see his life through that lens. And there is some heartbreaking moments and some moments of just like, how is this book going to end? Like, it's almost like you don't even see a light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but the ending truly shocked me to my core. It was so good. Please read it. Please read it. Suga did it again. Yoongi is the goat because I loved Almond. Loved it so much. And then for our final read, we're going to hop back into Mr. Namjoon's library. It is for Midnight Library, okay? I surprisingly did love this book. This main character is having like just the worst time of her life. So there is one trigger warning of she does try to end her life. And in this process, I guess it's kind of like, I don't know if people are saying that it's magical realism. I guess it's up to interpretation. But basically, she has this experience where she's kind of in like this limbo between life and death. And she's kind of like inside of her mind, and her mind is a library. In each book in the library are different paths that she would have taken in her life. And she opens the book and she basically gets to experience that small part of herself. And if she doesn't like it, she gets to leave. And again, I'm not going to spoil the ending or anything like that, but it's definitely one of those books where it makes you think kind of about your own life and your own experiences, like what books you have on your own midnight library shelf, the what ifs and everything like that. So, definitely a book that makes you think. I know that at least within the old Barnes and Noble that I used to work in, a few of us read it, and it was we had very different views on how good the book was. I think I did rate it a 3. um Maybe I would give it a 3.5. I would recommend this book because, again, I'd be very interested to see what you guys thought about The Midnight Library, just because I feel like it very much depends on your take on everything that happens. So let me know what you think, but I don't know if I would ever like reread it. I'm pretty sure both Namjoon and Yoongi actually read this in one of the In the Soups, which is cute that they just like read each other's pics and everything like that. I don't know. I love that. So, those were the books that I read because BTS told me to. I would say that BTS and I have different tastes in books, um, because a lot of them just seem to have, deeper artistic themes, which makes sense because obviously Namjoon's very into his art and everything like that, which go for it, all good, all good. But the moment that Namjoon reads smut, I'm there. I'm with him. I doubt that's ever going to happen, at least publicly. I don't know if I am going to read too many more books that they recommend. I just feel like we have very different tastes. I did also read, not that this was directly recommended by them, but I did read a book that was just not at all what I thought it was. I Have the Right to Destroy Myself. Oh boy. So this book, I have friends that loved this book. They thought it was, again, just so deep and dark and artistic and beautiful. And I just did not like it. I think I rated it like a 2.5. So I think that I am just not an artsy girly. I just think that stuff like that is too much for me, and it just kind of, I don't know, it just puts me in like a really weird spot. It's not happy enough. My friends would argue and probably joke around that you just don't like it because it doesn't have a kiss in it. I mean, yeah, probably. I love a kiss in a book. But this book was like very dark and yeah, I don't know. Not my jam. I would recommend it for someone that likes, I don't know, a bad time. No, I'm kidding. Maybe not a bad time, just not a time for me. Because let me see, what was my review on it? I actually didn't even review it on Goodreads. All I put was 2 stars. I'm so sorry. This guy's whole shtick is basically he finds people that want to unalive themselves, and it's because they find life just they're bored with life. They think that they bring nothing to it. It's just not worth living anymore. And so he finds these people, convinces them to unalive themselves, and if they do, it like he gets like some sort of like happy, like I did a good thing, like self-righteous, almost like excitement. He's a psychopath. Um that was my take from it, and it's just I didn't enjoy my time. I didn't enjoy my time, and I wouldn't recommend that you not enjoy your time because there are so many books in the world. So many books. Maybe skip this one, respectfully. And then, just because the theme of this video is BTS, I also read their memoir. Phenomenal, beautiful. It's right behind me with JK. If you love BTS, you're gonna love their memoir. They have cool little QR codes, like literally so many of them, hundreds probably, throughout the book that will take you to different like sites and stuff, like videos and old news articles and clips and stuff. It is very BTS, just like they couldn't just release a book. They had to give you an experience, and it's just wonderful, just like they are wonderful. Which I am going to continue a little bit of a journey. Just reading all of these books inspired me to kind of keep it going. So I do have 3 books that I'm going to be reading this year. Just, not books that BTS have directly recommended, but just within the same realm, wavelength. We've got The Mermaid from Jeju. I, first of all, just love the cover of this book, and it definitely doesn't sound like it's going to be any like magical realism that I know of. I think the mermaid part is just supposed to be more like, you know, poetic than anything else. It's not actual like mermaids or anything like that. So I'm very excited. I know it takes place like post World War II. So it's definitely going to be not as light of a read probably, but I think that that is why it is very like in that same realm of, BTS's picks, the ones that aren't mangas. And then this one is called The Cabinet. And this one is a sci-fi. So I'm actually super excited for this one. I'm not fully sure what it's about. All I'm seeing on the back here is weird abilities, bizarre experiences, and the emergence of a new species. So like I'm in. I'm already in. You've sold me. Something like this, I would say, is way more up my alley. Just a bit more, you know, just more oomph and less sad and tears. So excited for this one. And then lastly, just because I had two mangas read for, you know, the members that chose mangas. I'm going to be reading The Seven Fates Cheiko, which is their webtoon that was made into a manga, or well, manhwa. So I'm super excited for this. This is literally just a fantasy about the BTS members, if you don't already know. So yeah, I'm very excited. You can both read the webtoon and you can buy it physically because I love a physical book. So I will be reading that just because BTS things have a lot to do before 2025. So, again, 7 books, 7 members. It was a journey. Not as, not that it wasn't fun, but it was more so just like, it was an awakening to realize how different of tastes we truly have. But they're artistes. I hope you stick around because I promise, pinky promise, that more content is coming. I'm still fun employed in Japan, so I have plenty of time to be reading, which I am. Started the new year and I'm already 7 books in and I'm almost done with my 8th and it's only the end of January. So, yeah, I have a lot on my plate, but like in planning wise for you guys. Let me know if you guys have read any of the 7 books that I read from BTS's list. And also, I mean, there are plenty other books as well that I did not read. So let me know what ones that you read that I didn't. If you guys have any recommendations, because I'm clearly, maybe I just read the wrong books. I loved the mangas and I loved the memoir, Crying in H Mart, but maybe I just read the wrong ones. I know Human Acts is another one. I just didn't, I don't know, for whatever reason I chose other picks. But yeah, if you guys read good ones, give me a shout. Let me know. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching and keeping up with me. I hope to see you back here soon. Bye.